Okay, hello everybody. My name's Dark/Malum, and this is for the second channel, Project Hysteria. We're going to be talking about the events from Chapter 1 to Chapter 3.5. So, let's get into it, okay? I had to fucking yawn. So, Chapter 1 started at the event of something bad happening. The Nat, the Emira advanced team, was sent out to find elemental orbs. These orbs were physical manifestation of magic and the element of the elemental astrals that have yet to surface in this specific timeline. So, the only way to free the Leviathan was to bring those orbs together. These dumbasses, being dumbasses, decided that was a great idea. Bring them down to hell and keep them safe. So they spent their whole chapter going through the different areas, gathering the orbs, and they brought them together. They practically messed up by doing that. They awoken the creature itself. They awoke the Leviathan. They also freed Delert, the god of corruption, and that's what happened. It destroyed all of Chapter 1. Chapter 1 was destroyed, it was devoured, it became Leviathan, as we thought. Then we get to Chapter 2. This is where things get a little funky. Things didn't really get flowing with Chapter 2. Chapter 2 had the elemental ley lines, which were essentially the same thing as the orbs, but they were stationed, and the orb became the ley lines. So there was magic fissures all over the world, specifically with one element, going straight to Namira, which was the center of the world. That didn't get flown off. We had a couple characters there who were supposed to be part of that team, along with the glitching, which was a physical thing that was happening to many characters, because that was the Leviathan breaking through the walls. So, the place that Delhurt and the Leviathan was going to be shown in this chapter, along with amongst other things. But that didn't get really pushed out there, so I had to kind of scavenge some of that stuff and leave it for later stories, like the spaceship. Lilith in Chapter 2 actually stole a spaceship, and she had that. That will be relevant a little bit later. So, now we get to Chapter 2.5. This is where stuff did get out the door. A lot of stuff happened. A lot of fun in this chapter. We had Seraph, which was played by Zadok. We were having Scrumpy, played by Cruz, and I forgot who B played. But besides that, we had fun. We had Seda, we had Rhea, we had a lot of cool characters. Amongst that, this one saw Seda not buying mercenaries, but requesting help. He requested help to go to the corrupted lands or the shadowlands, whatever I called it back then. I might have to go back to that video and listen to it. I don't know if my voice was recorded then, because my system messes up with that. I'm also doing this in the bathroom because it's a lot more secluded and quiet. So, the Chapter 2.5 brought us to the corrupted lands. It brought us a new mechanic called totems. Totems were basically Pokemon. They were capturable, they were trainable, they were evolvable, amongst other things. They even had a stress phase called Stress Evolution that brought them to Undead, Ghost, and also dual elemental types. Like Scrumpy's grass cat stress evolved into a fire grass cat. Um, Another player's creature stress evolved into a undead griffin. A lot of cool things happened there that was really fun. They also met Storm Black being originally Cyrix's wisp back in chapter 1. But she split off due to him messing up completely and the Leviathan breaking through, and then she got corrupted a little bit, and she broke out of her corruption after she accidentally killed a tiefling woman and became her. She took her form. So she's been trying to solve this mystery in the Shadowlands, Corrupted Lands, as it's currently confirmed in this later chapter 3.5. So she is going around trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. Seda also has a demon who he asked for help and became this vessel for her. So Storm and Seda fought during the Shadowlands or the Corrupted Lands battle. Two mechs flew down and tried to stop them. The party, killed the mechs majestically with the help of Tau, who came from the past, from the Elemental War. Which the Elemental War is something that we'll get into events or past stuff before the chapters. So not the Elemental War. So Tau came through, he saved them with Anarchy? I think it's Anarchy. The giant, not Stegosaurus, Ankylosaurus. It was an Ankylosaurus because it had the tail that was a hammer. So he helped kill the mechs and defeat that. One of the pilots had her whole chest cavity broken open by some kind of weird creature. That wasn't revealed that chapter. Then this giant portal or wormhole or whatever opened, and the Leviathan was slipping through. That's when this chapter kind of started getting a little bit heavy. They went back to the Azlorian castle, which is where Seda requested them, and they kind of sailed off, as well as Seraph capturing a giant squid creature, which came out very helpful, actually, which I love that for him. As they got to the Azlorian castle, they talked with the princess, who became queen in chapter 3. She told them that the council in Azlor was doing some kind of corruption, some kind of ritual or something. So all three of them, Seda, Seraph, and Scrumpy, go in, kill them, and as they were trying to get there, Scrumpy and Seraph, I think, fell out of a window or was climbing a window trying to do some Assassin's Creed stuff. And at one point, Seraph, I think, threw the giant squid out while there was mechs kind of patrolling, and he jumped on it or lifted it up with its tentacle or something. It was really cool. I don't specifically remember, but it was really cool. And they got into the council room, or they got out of it, and they had to go. They saw the Leviathan descend down with Delthert on its back, and so they left to go fight it with the whole party. Mechs were involved, shooting, destroying, or trying to help defeat it. There was a blockade with a bunch of other stuff happening. So during the Leviathan's descent, it actually caused a ripple in the multiverse that made 3 worlds: Universe 1, Universe 2, and Universe 3, all combined into one universe. Which will become really, really important, like, later in the chapters. I think, like, maybe chapter 5 if I plan it out right, and things go as planned. So, they go ahead and do that. They go fight the Leviathan. They win. with the help of easily using the destruction sword, which is actually one of the original artifacts, which she shatters later on some point in that chapter. That's not revealed that she shattered it, but she shatters it and brings it home in their vault to stop whatever from doing it again, because she was the ultimate reason why the Leviathan became the Leviathan and why it happened, why this whole thing happened. That will be also an event in like an event story that I do, or event lore. We'll call it event lore. Why not? So after they kill it, the Leviathan kind of disperses, becomes bones, flesh. They have food for years now because this giant calamari now has, food that they can supply out to the other nations and all that fun stuff. And then we get to chapter 3. Chapter 3 was fun. It was basically this academy school style thing. There was Kate. I forgot the other two. But Kate was a really cool character, using luck and all that as a potential thing, as a demon. So they go back in time. At least the three of them do go back in time to the Elemental War and view it as a potential history lesson. Two mechs fight outside of the school grounds where this creature is destroying it, this metal-looking dog thing, alien-looking dog thing. This is the creature that bursted out of the chest of the mech in chapter 2.5. Or out of the pilot in 2.5 as a little alien-looking creature. As it kills mechs, it gains metal, it grows bigger, it basically devours the engine inside of the mech to gain its power via demon essence, angelic essence, or soul essence. So as that happens, it grows bigger. But they did kill it. One of the players got one of them as a pet, and that thing got totemed, I think. They also went to the military base in Azalar and some other stuff about, like, certain things. I forgot what this whole chapter was about, other than the time orb, which we'll get to that in a second. But they talked to Oni, and who was one of the original Imperial Knights. Oni kind of told them, hey, right now there's an issue. We need to solve it. You guys have to stay here. You can't go back to school. So they stay there. The facility goes in lockdown, and these new flesh-eating creatures show up out of this random thing. And there's this giant, bulky creature, which they kill. And they proceed on to the next base, which is the underground Imperial Knight base. They're kind of shown a tour about that, and that's when we pretty much get I kind of describe it in my own way as an Order 66 scenario, where a Dark Keeper shows up, cuts down all these Imperial Knights, all these trainees, and Oni has to fight her way to protect these kids. They go up into this trapdoor, and they're basically teleported somewhere in the place. They're teleported at Jeff's bar. Jeff is a Birdman. He was once an Imperial Knight who didn't want that life anymore. He didn't want to fight. He didn't want to do any of that. So he became a bartender at one of the most renowned Imperial Knight locations in Azalar and among other locations in all of Asteria. So he kind of just does that. If you fight in his bar, he will kick you out or he will kill you. Either way. His bar is a no-fight zone. It's also magic dampened, so you can't literally fight there, or your weapons will be taken. So, they sleep. One of the players gets taken by Dark Keeper. The other two go on the airship to fly there, and that's when a bunch of stuff happened where I kicked the other two people because a bunch of drama was happening. It was not fun. Zadok was one of those people who was not supposed to get kicked, but it was just so much drama. So I reinvited him back for Chapter 3.5. Because he deserved to be back, and he was fun to play with. So, after this player was taken and brought among the walking assault base of the Dark Order, which spoilers, that base will actually be re-revealed in Chapter 3.5. So, they go and fight we'll call them the Divine Order now, because that's what they're officially called, and they have this whole battle, This player sneaks aboard, they're firing cannons, blaster rifles, mechs firing, all that stuff. Allison becomes a physical manifestation of her mother Sinla and accepting her power as one of the demigods. This player goes in, touches the time orb, gets sucked in, meets the master and the time sentinels, I want to call them. And then she went up to time orb again, destroyed it pretty much, and it scattered all the shards across the main timeline. And that ends Chapter 3. But I'm thinking about having different shards and different timelines, like multiverse lines, because it kind of adds into what's happening in Chapter 3.5. Chapter 3.5 started with one of the time orbs being found, it being called the Night Shard. It made this little town of Valor completely dark. All of Valor was corrupted in terms of darkness. 2 people were sent down to figure this out. Madani and Quinn. They went there and they solved the issue. They also met a Fox who they invited to the team. They met Orion, who I will describe pretty much as Ben 10. He has the watch and different creatures that he can become. And they meet Wrench Goblinson, the son of Bugs. Wrench tells them that this house is haunted, there's weird noises going on. They investigate. It was indeed haunted by the Shadowhold, the book of Lady Sinla. So they travel across the world. They went to the Castle of Aloe. They met the Queen. They did some stuff for her. 2 sentient looking mechs were found, which were not manifestation, they were literal transformers pretty much. They had vehicle forms and whatnot. So they met Alpha 1, they met Blackout, I want to say. At the Castle of Aloe, they did kill one, so he's currently being tinkered and stripped down and being, what's the word? not probe, but diagnosed on how he works and everything, trying to make better cores or better engines. So they go back to their house, they travel to another place. They traveled to, I think, Cinderforce first, which in the town of Lovefire. They go talk to the bar there. They find Orvin. Orvin tells them, "Oh, I dreamt about you." His whole line. And they go on a mission to find the artifacts. They go back into their little teleporting house after Quinn massacres 2 people who were attacking Knight, or not Knight, Blaze. Blaze being the son of one of the son of Orion and his mother, who is the mayor of said place. Then we get to them going to the castle. Yeah, the Black Castle, where they met the fleshy monsters, and they get the fragments of destruction. So that's in the house, the teleporting, moving house. And Orvin finds out he's alone. Madani and Quinn have vanished. The Shadowhold and the other artifacts, the rain of fire, and the cube of ice, which the cube of ice was found in Valo, while the ring was found in Lovefire on Blaze's finger. So they go, or not they, Ryan goes, tries to find more people he's dreamt about, which he does. He finds, my God, who did he find? He finds Morse and Rikami. No, he finds Morse and Alora. And they go find more artifacts. And then they meet Rikami after they go to Mira. Mira gets stormed after they tried to find Orion. Orion tells them to use the artifacts to get down to the Vaults of Hell. And they do. So, the Dark Order is attacking this place. Giant tree monsters being murdered. That's helping the Dark Order because it has corrupted eyes. Ethereal and a masked man, who Orvin has seen before from running a little bit with Quinn, they tell them that they have some of the artifacts they're looking for, and they need to give them theirs. So, Orvin declines. He goes, as this place is being attacked, they go back up, try and save people, lost cause. They go back down, and they go through one of the tunnels. That leads to Illyria, which is the Wind City of Ethereal. So they go there, they have their night off after Orvin's mind starts pounding. He sees the Leviathan awake. It was resurrected. A lot more destructive and angry than the once squid it looked like. So now it is a complete snake. It's shedded its tentacles. It's getting closer to being in its complete form. Nil, the black dragon. So, Orvin moves on to Illyria's bar. He has a couple drinks. They meet up with Rikami at the docks. They also meet Knight, who is revealed to be Anubis, the man who killed Elmira in chapter 2.5. No, at the start of chapter 3, Elmira died. It's also said that he possibly killed Helena herself. So Knight's revealed as the man who possibly does this. Orvin and the team, other than Rakami, are sus of him. Rakami gets revealed that Knight is actually her brother. So they go on this whole mission. They go back to the Black Castle. They talk with Queen Laura and Ethereal. They get the artifacts that she had. They also meet Eobard there, as well as Ashlyn Black, who is the anti-Leviathan. So they go on their mission and objective, and they get to the... They go to the Nightlands. I think they go to the Nightlands next. And they go into the Shrine of Sinla. They get the Shadowbone, which is an axe that turns into an armadillo. And then they go to... They get artifacts stolen and Ashlyn taken from them. They try and follow them towards a corrupted looking fog that only cultists can go through. So they lose Ashlyn but get the ring because of Seraphine Firefade, demigod of Carissa. They also go to Lunaria. Rakami sees her father. Knight sees his father. He doesn't see his father for once. He meets his brothers, and while they were in Eloria, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. They got the artifacts from Death. They almost fought Death. They helped Death kill a cultist ship, and they took that cultist ship, which they've been running this whole time. And they switch that ship and leave the SS Luna at Lunaria and take a Lunarian battleship that Rakami's father gives them. They also meet Aspen there, who was very sad that Knight's father, who's Witcher, got to the monster first. So they also have a tree that they're going to grow on the Lunarian warship. And now we get to the most recent part of the campaign. They, Aspen, Eobard, and Knight, take the Lunarian battleship past Valo towards Dazan, which is the water city. They were attacked by pirates. Aspen explored the warship, kind of familiar with it. Eobard was taken at the end of a session by a TARDIS. It was the traveling house that had camouflaged itself as a stump. So they get the time orb because Eobard grabs it. We'll call it the stump now. The stump, after Eobard pushes the exit eject button or the emergency exit button, gets left somewhere. After he gets left in Silver Forest, he fights a Minotaur, which was supposed to be a mid-level boss, but he kills it because stealth, high stealth, blizzard, concealment. So he gets the Stormhammer, the third artifact No, the second stage artifact to Stormsky, the god of electricity, and he gets stuff that he can sell. So he gets all of that, and he kind of pushes himself towards a camp that he can see. He almost dies by falling off a bridge. He would have killed himself if he didn't get a nat 20 on jumping. He then sneaks into the Imperial base that's there, finds spaceships, kind of waits there for 5 hours to watch their movement and where they go. He follows the general who has the access card to the main computer to unlock the landing gear for these spacecrafts. So he kills him, Dexter style, and he steals a Lunarian ship. A Lunarian spaceship, actually, that was supposed to be going to someone. So he steals that, flies it towards Knight in Aspen. He docks that ship. Another ship shows up, attempting to blast them. If they didn't get Knight, they dock. They get into their first combat of the session, and their only combat in the session. The pirate bounty hunters want Knight. Neobar's a dumbass, gets caught by the Warforged. So, Warforged throws a guard after Knight gives him a signal. Aspen and Neobar, being dumbasses, not noticing the signal, decide to attack the Warforged anyway. So the Warforged goes into battle mode, helps Knight kill the captain. Actually, I think Aspen kills him. Well, not kill, but capture. Neobar kills 3 of them, initiating the combat, and then killing 2 with 1 fucking arrow in the head. The arrow goes through the skull, and then goes into the other person. After the Warforged threw the guy off the ship, broke his back and everything, he was prone. Captain's prone because his leg's been shot and he's been busted. They bring the captain to the brig. Neobar goes to help, or not help, but look around for Akami as after he pins the Warforged with 2 arrows, causing the Warforged to be pinned and Knight turn him off for now. They also met a pirate or outlaw by the name of One-Eyed Croc, who might be important. Before they fought this other ship of pirates, this giant capital ship broke through the atmosphere and currently hovering over Asteria, more so Thazan, which we will get into next session, which is this Wednesday and Saturday. So that's pretty much it for the recap of the chapters.